The look on his face, the moment Silas Thorne realized the single mom he'd dismissed as insignificant had just signed away his entire $10 billion project. It was priceless. He thought he was playing chess. She was playing three-dimensional chess. He didn't just lose money. He lost the one thing he valued: control. I want you to remember that look when we get to the end. But before we dive into how Elara Daniels, juggling single motherhood and a struggling startup, pulled off the impossible, do me a favor. If you believe the underdog always deserves a shot, if you believe that brainpower beats bank accounts, hit that like button and subscribe right now. This is the story of Elara and how she used nothing but her razor-sharp wits and a lot of late nights to humble a corporate king. Elara Daniels was the kind of brilliance the world often overlooks, a self-taught engineer running a tiny, 5-person design firm called Luminance out of a renovated warehouse unit in the forgotten industrial district. Her true passion wasn't profit, but purpose. She had developed a revolutionary, self-sustaining modular housing system designed to be assembled rapidly and affordably in disaster zones. Her life was a meticulously balanced spreadsheet of early mornings coding, school drop-offs, and late nights drafting, all fueled by bad coffee and the fierce determination to give her 7-year-old daughter, Chloe, a life free from the constant shadow of eviction. The challenge wasn't invention, it was capitalization, and that's where Silas Thorne, the head of Thorne Global Acquisitions, entered her world like a wrecking ball. Thorne was renowned for his surgical, often brutal, hostile takeovers. His latest prize was the entire industrial district where Luminance was located, a sprawling redevelopment project he had codenamed the Citadel, a luxury tech campus that required every last square inch of the old district to be demolished, including Elara's warehouse. The first interaction wasn't a negotiation. It was an eviction notice, delivered by a cold, impeccably dressed lawyer named Mr. Harrison. Thorne's offer for Elara's company was contemptuous, a quarter of its market value, presented as a final courtesy, not a starting point. "Take the money, Ms. Daniels," Harrison had sneered, folding the documents. "Mr. Thorne is a busy man. You're an asterisk in a 10-figure deal." Elara's throat tightened, thinking of Chloe's bright, messy drawings taped to the walls of the office, the physical proof of her dream. She didn't just refuse, she stood her ground. "Mr. Harrison," she said, her voice shaking slightly but steadying quickly, "Luminance isn't just a building, it's intellectual property. And my IP is worth more than Mr. Thorne's entire legacy, even if he hasn't realized it yet." This defiance, relayed back to Silas Thorne, didn't anger him. It intrigued him, like a small, buzzing insect he had to crush personally. Thorne escalated his attack with clinical precision. First, he used his influence to freeze Elara's line of credit at the local bank, citing the instability of the entire district's property future. Then, he leveraged proprietary market data to undercut Luminance's few existing suppliers, making raw materials prohibitively expensive. He even tried to hire away her lead engineer, Felix, a kind, loyal man who was essential to the small team. The pressure was immense and relentless. Elara found herself sleeping at the office more often than not, trying to find solutions while juggling dinner and homework over video calls. The emotional toll was highest when Chloe, sensing the stress, asked simply, "Mommy, is the bad man going to take our house and our office?" That fear, sharp and immediate, galvanized Elara. She realized she couldn't fight Thorne with money, speed, or brute force. She could only win with superior intelligence. Her challenge wasn't just to save her business, but to teach Thorne a lesson in corporate morality and sheer ingenuity. Elara's counterattack was not on the battleground of contracts or land rights, but deep in the archives of corporate history. She knew Thorne's weakness was his arrogance, the belief that he was above meticulous detail. She began pulling every public document on Thorne Global Acquisitions, focusing not on recent filings, but on the foundation of his empire 2 decades ago. She taught herself advanced corporate law principles, fueled by online lectures and endless cups of coffee, spending nights cross-referencing public domain patents with obscure merger records. Days blurred into a cycle of structural analysis and legal discovery. She was looking for the ghost in the machine, the single overlooked thread. Her team, inspired by her unwavering commitment, worked unpaid overtime, believing in her more than any paycheck. The breakthrough came at 4 a.m. on a Friday, staring at a dusty, digitized filing from 1998 detailing the acquisition of a failed robotics firm. Within the complex web of that ancient merger, Elara found it, a forgotten poison pill clause. When Thorne had acquired the defunct robotics firm, which, coincidentally, owned the land the warehouse was built on, a mandatory covenant was included, stipulating that if the land were ever repurposed outside of specific, ethically pre-approved uses, like affordable housing or environmental engineering, the intellectual property rights for all patents developed on that land, regardless of the subsequent buyer, would revert to a previously established charitable trust. The clause was meant to safeguard one original founder's humanitarian vision, and Silas Thorne, focused only on the land's value for his luxury campus, had never bothered to fully read or void the decades-old agreement. Thorne wanted to build the Citadel, a monument to wealth, the antithesis of the clause's stipulations. Elara didn't confront him immediately. She worked in secret with Felix to quickly modify and file a new patent based on her modular housing design, explicitly linking its core innovation to the original, decades-old, but still technically valid, design principles covered by the clause. She had created a direct lineage between her ethical technology and the forgotten covenant. Then, she walked unannounced into Thorne's office. He was smug, waiting for her surrender. "Ms. Daniels, you're wasting my time. Did you come to beg for a better severance package?" Elara smiled, a calm, terrifyingly assured smile. She slid a single, notarized document across his polished glass desk, a declaration of her intent to file a claim activating the 1998 poison pill. "If you try to demolish that warehouse to build your luxury towers, Mr. Thorne," she stated, her voice pure ice, "not only will the courts halt your $10 billion project indefinitely, but the rights to your entire quantum optimization algorithm portfolio, the crown jewel of Thorne Global, will instantly revert to a small, humanitarian trust fund. You'll lose the property, the project, and the technology that powers half your company." The transformation on Silas Thorne's face was spectacular, from dismissive arrogance to white-hot panic. He realized instantly that Elara had been playing a different game entirely, one where law and ethics held the high cards, not cash. His lawyers confirmed the nightmare. The clause was obscure, but ironclad, a ticking time bomb he had inherited and ignored. The only way to bypass the clause and save his core tech was to use the land for an ethically approved purpose. Elara dictated the terms of his surrender, not with bitterness, but with strategic clarity. Thorne Global would not only fund the permanent establishment of Luminance in the district and grant them a 5-year, no-cost lease, but they would also be required to invest $200 million into Elara's modular housing project, making Thorne the unwilling financial backing for the very humanitarian vision he scoffed at. She didn't want his money as a bailout. She wanted it as a weapon against the problem she was trying to solve. Elara Daniels didn't just win a court battle. She won a moral victory that resonated far beyond the district. She proved that the smartest person in the room is often the one with the clearest vision and the deepest resolve, not the one with the biggest bank account. She sacrificed her sleep, her comfort, and her peace for months, but in the end, her meticulous research and unwavering ethical focus allowed her to use the billionaire's own forgotten history against him, not only saving her own dream, but forcing a corporate titan to invest in humanity. Her victory became an inspiring message. The greatest leverage in life is not wealth or power, but the knowledge that others deem too insignificant to study. So, let me ask you, what tiny detail, what overlooked opportunity, are you ignoring in your own life that could be your biggest leverage? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. And if this story of Elara's genius inspired you to never back down from a corporate bully, please show your support by liking and subscribing right now. Don't miss our next story of the ultimate underdog victory.